I really didn't think I would be nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Well, I don't know. I don't know why I'm nervous.
Have you ever opened up about being bipolar?
I'm always kind of weary to tell people about it, which I think is why I'm nervous to do this video.
Isn't it funny seeing yourself?
Yeah, it is funny.
Have you always had the courage to sit in front of a camera and tell everybody about your diagnosis?
Oh no. Oh no. This is like pretty groundbreaking.
What do you want to say to everybody who knows you and now knows you're also bipolar?
Hey guys. Funny finding out this way. But it's still me, the same person before this video.
Welcome to SBSK. We believe that everybody has a story that's worthy of being heard. When we listen to one another, the world becomes a closer place, and we all benefit together. So without hesitation, let's meet today's friend. Do you want people to ask you questions about your disorder?
Yeah, as long as it's like in a respectful, nice way. I think asking questions and like talking about it is the best way when I do tell someone and they do ask me questions about it, as long as it's like, obviously not like a rude question. I think that's like the best way to have that first conversation.
What's it like to be bipolar?
Not easy. I have bipolar type II, which means that you have hypomania and then depressive episodes. It's a feeling of like being elevated in moods, like very elevated moods. I compare it to like drinking 3 Red Bulls and like being in like a really nice meadow on a nice day. It's how you feel for like, for me it's about a week most of the time, but then after that you would fall into a depressive episode, which is like 3 weeks. It could be months, it just kind of depends. Before
you seek treatment, how would you describe the lowest of the low?
Ooh, we get in dark. It's like, it physically hurts, almost. It's such a weird, I compare it to like, you know how scientifically, like when you get your heart broken and it like physically hurts and there's like not like a real like logical reason behind it, like why you feel like the physical pain attached to the emotional pain, that's how a lot of mental illness is. And like when you're at the lowest of the low, it feels like my whole body and like my brain is just kind of like full of static almost. But it's like everything is heavy and just like kind of achy and like you're just kind of like buzzing a little bit on the inside. You don't sleep very much. You're very talkative. I used to clean a lot. You're more social than usual. It's associated. Sometimes people will spend like a lot of money. You'll go out more, stuff like that. And then a depressive episode, it's just like you just stay in bed a lot of the time.
What does your tattoo mean?
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
I actually got it last year after I'd kind of like worked through things. It's just like kind of like growth and like there's like a little face hidden in there. I don't know if you can see that. And it's just kind of like regrowth kind of, and like kind of like rediscovering things and like coming up out of where nothing was.
When you share with someone that you're diagnosed with bipolar disorder, how do you hope they respond?
I think just like how my friend Kat responded. She was just kind of like, well, what is that like for you? Like she just really wanted to know more about it, but from my perspective, and she didn't really have like a stigma or a dramatic reaction to it. She was like, what is that like for you? And I was like, it's kind of hard sometimes. She's like, I bet.
What was it like when you were first diagnosed?
It was scary. It was really scary. And I think it might have been scarier because I did see my mom struggle with it for like a long time. So I kind of always knew it was like a risk thing, and I would definitely say it was one of my biggest fears at the time, so it was really terrifying for me.
If you had to introduce your sister to the world, what would you say?
She is an angel child. She is the perfect teenager. Like, she is so good, and she's my best friend. We are so similar. We even laugh the same and talk the same. Yeah.
What was it like seeing your mom's battle with bipolar disorder and then being diagnosed yourself?
See, in the beginning, I think it made it scarier just because, like, I had seen it, and it is hard to see, especially because my mom was diagnosed later, so I think it's been a little harder for her. So it is hard to see, like, someone you care about, like, go through things like that.
When she was first diagnosed, she told me she was bipolar, and when she did, I just kind of was like, okay, well then let's move on. What I basically said.
Yeah. I think you were the person I was most afraid to tell.
Really?
Yeah. At least at first. I didn't want you to be worried about me. I was like afraid.
I wasn't really worried about you, honestly.
That's good. That's good.
Why weren't you worried about her?
I kind of just knew that she had the friends and she had me and my mom to kind of turn to get the right support and right comfort that she would need to treat what, she was going through.
Why was your sister's reaction so important to you?
I didn't want her to be worried. And I also didn't want her to feel pressured to take care of me, because I think in a lot of aspects I don't want to say taken care of her and my mom, but I've been like kind of the like, we need to do this and kind of do this. And I didn't want her to feel like now she would have to take care of me, like, and kind of watch out for my mom a little bit. I just wanted her to not feel any stress and like still be able to like feel like if she wanted to go to school somewhere else, she wouldn't have to stay here for me or anything like that. Like, I would be okay. I didn't want her to think she would have to like take care of me.
How did you feel when you opened up to your sister and she was so accepting?
It was the best feeling ever. The fact that you just like were so unfazed by it. Because everyone else, it was like this whole like soap opera kind of thing. Like it was so ridiculous. But she was just like, okay. Then she was like, do you want to go get food? Yeah. That's like your automatic thing. You're like, are you hungry?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you were hiding how sick you were before you seek treatment?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, just like getting up and I used to say like fake it till you make it, which is horrible advice for a situation like that. Do not fake it till you make it. It's not good. And I'd just like get up and put makeup on and I'm like, okay, this is it. Let's go. Smile on. Let's.
Did that make things worse?
Yeah. Because then it's like you don't want people to see it, but then people don't see it. So then it makes it harder for them to believe that like when you do get the diagnosis and you're like, no, I have this. And like, oh no, you're fine all the time. Like you're always happy and you always look so nice and da-da-da-da-da.
How long did you have symptoms of being bipolar that went untreated?
Probably, I would say about 2 years, probably.
How did that impact your relationships?
It definitely was hard. It was not easy. I'm really grateful to the friends I had during that time. And towards the end, when I actually did like go get diagnosed and stuff like that, I was in more of like a depressive phase. So you do drop a lot of friends, but they were never like gone. I just wasn't hanging out with them and like talking to them as much. So I'm really lucky that my friends did hang out and stick around for when I was better.
My name is Haley. I have my master's in social work and I am working to be a therapist. So it's a little bit fitting having a friend with a disorder, like any disorder, and the experience too, because I have depression and anxiety. So I'm able to come at it from a very supportive standpoint.
When you are having difficulties because of your diagnosis, what can somebody do to support you?
Haley's great at this. She just comes over and we just like lay in bed and watch movies and just eat food.
What about somebody who doesn't have that type of comfort level with you though?
I think because sometimes if I am going through something, it can seem flaky almost. If I'm like, I know I had this planned, but I just like can't do this today. And it's just like being more understanding. Like obviously the person's gonna be like let down that I can't do something, but like sometimes you just need a day. You just need a day off.
Do you feel bad when you break those plans?
Yeah, of course. Like I never want to be the person who's like, we've been really looking forward to like going to this thing. I'm really sorry. Like, of course I feel bad. Like I don't want to do it. It's just like, sometimes you just physically can't do it.
What do you want people to know when you do cancel plans?
That if I could go, I would go. Like 100%. It's not because I don't want to hang out with you. I don't ever use it like as an excuse to not go to places. Most of the time, if it's someone that like, if it's with somebody that I haven't told, I'm just like, I don't feel good. Like it, like that's kind of the baseline of it. But if I could go, I would go. It's not that I don't want to hang out with you. It's just that like, sometimes you just literally can't go.
So when you say it could be 2 weeks of this extreme high, there might be a misconception that that sounds great. Can the highs be problematic too?
Yes, but when I first got diagnosed, I actually told Haley a lot about this, that I was afraid of losing that feeling of like being that happy and that productive and stuff like that. But overall, it's not worth it.
About a month after you were diagnosed, you were sending me little updates about like how you were during the day, because I was talking about how even little things are so huge when you're dealing with mental illness. So she texted me, hello, some good things from this week. I've showered every day. I've brushed my teeth twice a day. I went to 2 doctor's appointments and got medication. Today I started the medication. I made half a scarf so far, and I feel good.
What are some changes you've seen since you've been on medication?
Well, it's kind of weird because before I didn't really have like a baseline for like normal. And when I first got diagnosed, a lot of the questions they ask you are based around like, well, what do you think is like your normal? And I was like, I don't have a normal. That's the point. Like, there is no normal for me.
Even those little things such as like showering, even just getting out of bed is such a huge feat that people who don't experience mental illness don't realize. And so it's so huge. Like, I love that you were recognizing that those little things are so huge. And she was being so adamant about and courageous about just like doing the little things and taking pride in those and like giving herself credit for those things.
Don't make me cry.
You're so sweet.
When you first started medication, did you have any stigma attached to it, or were you able to accept it right away?
I actually did have a little bit of stigma with it until I was reading about it online. And basically how I think about it is like a person with diabetes needs something because their body doesn't produce what they need, and it's the same thing. My brain just doesn't produce the chemicals that it's supposed to like regulate things the way it should. So it's just like, it's kind of the same thing. So now it doesn't bother me at all.
Surely there's going to be somebody who sees this video who has their own mental health battles but hasn't yet sought treatment. What would you say to that person?
It's easier to go and get the help that you need and just to deal with it in that sense than it is to continue to fight it by yourself. It makes it so much easier. And I always say like, if I do this now, then 3 months from now, I'm gonna be like a little bit better. Like, that's like my thing. So it may seem harder at first to like go get the help you need, but in the long run, it's totally worth it to start. I also think that medication and therapy are equally as important to each other and when you do get diagnosed and you do go get help.
Is there a singular moment where her friendship and support meant more to you than any other moment throughout your journey?
Does now count?
Oh.
I'm so happy for you to come with me and to be here.
I'm so happy to be here. I was so... When she said she was being interviewed, I was like, no way. Like, that's not real. Like, there's no way that's real.
I think now's like the peak, you know? Like, we've been working to get to this point. Like, this is the Mount Everest point. We're talking about it. It's great.
Thanks for watching SBSK. Click subscribe here to be part of our community. Then hit the notification bell below so you never miss a story. You can even meet another friend here. See you next time.